Hi guys, it's Pam from Cranberry Cottage, and in this tutorial we are going to be using Moulds and Dixie Belle paint. We're going to transform this piece into a pillar candle holder. We're going to be putting molds all over on the inside and on the outside, and we're going to be painting this, kind of give it a farmhousey look. So stay tuned, we'll be back. Okay guys, we're back. Sorry about the reflection in my glasses, but I gotta have them on in order to see up close. So I have done a couple of videos using the casting resin and the molds, but I wanted to go over it again just in case we have some new people that are watching that have never seen it used before. We'll make it pretty quick. I love using the casting resin in the molds. It's quick, it's fast. They're bendable, so you can mold them to any kind of surface. There's a lot of people out there that love the paper clay. It's just kind of a personal preference, whatever you decide you want to use. So let's get started. This is the amazing casting resin. You can get it at Amazon, Costco. We try to keep it in stock here. However, I had to use this one. This was our last one because I'm out of it myself. It's a two-part resin. So you have to mix it 1-to-1. They send these cute little cups and you just pour equal amounts. When you're mixing this, you want to make sure, I use paper cups. Styrofoam is not this thing's friend. It will melt the styrofoam. Some people use the clear plastic cups. I prefer to use the paper because I know that it is safe. So what you do is you pour in the resin in a cup. And it's kind of cloudy. I don't know if you can see it or not. There you go. And then you stir. And it'll continue to be cloudy. When it's mixed, it'll be really clear in your cup. I think you guys can see that. You can also feel it getting hot in the cup. So then what I do is I crease my cup so that I have this little pour spout. And then I just take my molds and I start pouring in the molds. You want to be careful that you don't overfill your molds. And then I always have some extra molds on hand because I always make extra. So you can make tons of castings. And I just keep them on hand for things that I'm doing. I put them on my furniture a lot. The other thing is you want to make sure that you pour on a level surface. This isn't exactly level. And I also have these little skewer sticks so that I can get the resin up into, some of these molds have some pretty intricate places. Now you want to be pretty quick with this. You can feel it getting hot. When it's getting hot, the chemical reaction is happening and it's going to start hardening. Okay, there's that. Make sure that I got my little areas in this one all covered up. Okay, so when this is ready, this will start turning white. And when it's completely cured, they look like this. It's hard to see the white against the white. Sorry, guys. So what I've done is I've made one already, and I'm going to glue these all the way around this particular piece. Do it all the way around, and I'm also going to do it on the insides. So it'll take me a little bit because I only have one of these molds and there's only one of this particular casting in that mold. So I'm going to wait. I'll show you what the casting resin looks like as it's curing, and then I will go ahead and get all of the other castings poured, and then I'll show you. We use Type Bond. I use Type Bond. Other people use other things. I use Type Bond to put the resin molds on my pieces. It grabs really quick and it sets up really quick, and then I can paint pretty fast. So, and as you can see, well, I guess you can't. Let me see if I can adjust the camera. Here, this is starting to cure, and it'll take about 10 minutes for this to completely cure. And then we can pop them out of the molds. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and it's taken about 10 minutes for these to set up. And so basically, all you have to do is just pop these out of here, and they come right out. Now, if you look, they're kind of pliable until they really set up. So you have a short amount of time that you can actually mold these to whatever you'd like to put them on. Now, sometimes I will tell you that I'm a little impatient. I try to pull these out quicker than they probably should be, and you'll notice that they stretch a little bit at the ends, so you might give them just a few more minutes to set up. But let's see how this one does. Yeah, it's coming out fine. Okay, so as you see, this is super bendy right now. So this stuff is really, really cool. You can actually make bracelets with these, jewelry with them. It's really, really awesome. So all I do is just kind of figure out what the center is. I had already pre-marked this particular one. I take my Type Bond, I put it on the back, and then I glue them onto the piece, and I let them set up. And so I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around this and go on the inside of this, and then I'll come back so that we can kind of go over some painting steps. All right, guys, thanks. Okay, guys, so we're back. Sorry about the reflection in the glasses. It can't be helped at this point. But we got all of the castings poured. I got them all glued on with the Type Bond too. And tomorrow, since I get to go home, yay, we'll be going over the painting procedure for this. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Hi guys, so we're back, and today we're going to be working on the painting for this particular piece. Yesterday I put all of the castings on, showed you how to use the amazing casting resin with the ReDesign with Prima molds. And so today we're going to be painting. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about brushes. These Klingon brushes are my go-to brush. I absolutely love these brushes, and I would recommend them to anyone. They are a little spendy, but these are fantastic for painting furniture. I like the flats. Some people like rounds. I've always been kind of a flat girl. This goes back to a nice chisel point, so when you're doing your painting, it gets good even strokes. This is a new Klingon brush that I just got in the shop. It's called a Shorty, and I'm going to be using it today as well. I want to try it and see what it's like. The nice thing about these brushes is when you're done with your painting, you can put it in a clean container of water and just let it sit there. Let it set for as long as it needs to. Sometimes I let mine set for 20 minutes to half an hour, and then once you lift it up, you can watch the paint just run off the bristles. What the bristles are made out of, I'm not exactly sure. They're an artificial bristle, but the paint just releases when it's in the water and comes right off. So when I'm done, I just clean these with like Dawn dishwashing detergent. There's all kinds of different cleaners out there, but I found that Dawn is a great substitute for brush cleaners. And then I just shape them and I let them dry. These are amazing brushes. The Dixie Belle brushes act like these brushes, so they are a close second as far as favorites. So today we're going to be using Dixie Belle paint. I've got a container of water. I've got my trusty little spray bottle. This is a fine mist sprayer. You can pick these up anywhere online, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any place. And then I always have with me also is some wipes. These are Parents' Choice. I found certain brands of Parents' Choice are really great because when you go to clean up or wipe up paint or what have you, or if you're just stressing your pieces with them, they do not leave any kind of fibers on your furniture. And that can cause a real problem when you go to finish it later on down the road. So we are going to be using 4 different colors of Dixie Belle paint. This piece is kind of rough, and so I'm going to be using a chipped, textured kind of finish on it. So we're going to start with Mud Puddle. Don't have my glasses on, so I can't see real well. Then we're going to go to Putty. Then we're going to go to Sea Glass and to Fluff. And in between each coat of paint, I'm going to put a barrier. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to use, whether I'll use wax and let it dry for 20 minutes in between, or whether I'll use a top coat and just use my blow dryer and blow it dry. We'll see how it goes when we get started. So most of the time when I start painting, I like to pour my paint into a paper bowl or something like that. I don't like to go directly out of the jar because things start drying out, you can contaminate your paint. So most of the time I just pour it into a bowl. For this, I'm going to just paint out of the jar. So you can do whatever you want, it's just personal preference. So let's get started. I'm gonna get my glasses on. So my brushes, I always get them wet. Make sure they're wrung out really well. And then I just start painting. And the coat doesn't have to be like a total full coverage, because we're going to distress this. We're going to be pulling color off. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this painted, because you don't need to watch me paint for 20 minutes. And then I will be back to show you what the next step is. Okay guys, so we're back. I finished putting on the first coat of paint on this piece. Like I said, you don't have to do a total coverage. We're going to be covering it with so much paint that it's not necessary to do 2 or 3 coats on this. So it covered really well. The one thing that I did want to tell you about these castings is to put a light coat on them first, let that dry and let it dry completely, and then put a second coat on it. That gives them a pretty good coverage, and then let it dry. Because they are resin and it's similar to a plastic, sometimes it takes a couple coats of paint to cover over the top of them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have to do this video in 2 parts, because being a newbie on YouTube, we're only allowed a 15-minute segment. So tomorrow I am going to shoot the second segment and show you how to finish up this piece. So I get to go home again, yay. And then tomorrow we'll add all of the colors. I'll show you the barrier coats in between the colors that I use and how I do that. And then I'll show you colored waxes and a few little tricks that I do. So I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll see you in part 2.